Hi, guys. Welcome to the Elation Podcast. Today we're here with the talented recording artist, Ivy Lowe.
Hey, how you guys doing?
How are you doing?
I'm great.
It's good to see you.
I'm actually excited to be here. This is like my first time being in like an actual podcast
Oh, that's cool.
in person, so I'm very excited to
It's
be here.
different. It's fun.
It is different.
It's the new talk radio, though.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's good to be back in, face to face. We actually said it earlier. It's funny how social media has made us all turn into our phones, but then
Yes.
now it's circling back to making us talk in person.
In person, which is good. It's a good strategy to have.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. Where are you from?
I'm from Monroe, Louisiana.
Okay.
I'm based in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. But I have most of my family in southern Louisiana, but I am from northern Louisiana, though. So,
Okay, I got
yeah.
you. Yeah, my dad's from Lafitte, so we're down that way as well.
Where's Lafitte at?
It's south, so down
Oh.
by Monroe. Monroe's a little more west, but
Yeah.
anyway, well, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us about your music. What type of music do you record? What type of music do you perform?
So I'm neo soul majority. I also do alternative R&B, but my soul and my passion lies in neo soul. So I'm a neo soul artist, and my inspirations are like Sade, Janet Jackson,
Right.
Music Soul Child, Anita Baker, Jill Scott. Like those are my
Those are some serious names you listed.
Those are my inspirations. I grew up
For-
on that type of music from my dad.
I was
like,
gonna say you had to
yeah.
have some old school inspiration because
Yeah.
that was definitely a good old school list.
Exactly.
Not something you hear a lot of new artists talk
Yeah,
about.
yeah. Well, my parents, like my dad's favorite artist was Prince, so I kind of
Okay.
grew up on that as well. And just always in the car, we would always play like just soulful music, and that just kind of inspired me to want to make neo soul music, and that just speaks to me. So, yeah.
Yeah, Prince was amazing. He was one
He
of a
was.
kind.
He really was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What was your dad's favorite song?
Kiss.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was his favorite song. I like Prince, but I don't really listen to him as much. I think I'm more so into the melodies, so I like slow like type of songs, and I know Prince is like more so rock a little bit. I don't know if he's rock, but like he kind of gets in there a
You
little
really
bit.
could classify Prince in any
In
genre.
any category.
You know, because at some point he blended it all.
Yeah,
you know?
he did.
He was really ahead of his time.
Definitely a legend for
So,
sure.
shout out to Prince.
Shout out to Prince.
Yeah, absolutely. Were any of your family members musicians or artists or?
My dad had a band in college. He used to play the saxophone.
Okay.
So I do have roots in music. My uncle, my cousins, they all sing. But I think I'm the only one so far who's taken it this far, as to be able to make my own music, create my own music, be my own artist. So I think they're very proud of me to keep that music soul inside of me and be able to pursue it to another level. So yeah, I do have music roots in my family for sure.
That's awesome. Yeah, my grandfather played trumpet. So,
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, my brother plays trumpet. I'm sorry, Adam, I forgot to say.
Don't forget about your brother.
My brother plays trumpet too, yeah, so.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Do you play any instruments?
I don't, but I really want to learn how to play the piano. That's like one of my favorite instruments, like.
It's a good one to start with, too.
Yes,
'cause
it
It
is.
really teaches you a lot of music theory.
Exactly, and like Alicia Keys, when I think of her and she's playing the piano while she's singing, like that's just something like I aspire to do. And also like the beats that I sing on, they usually have piano in them, so it's like I might as well just learn how to do that, you know.
Right.
One day though.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there's one thing about music is always growth. There's always growth. It's like math; it never ends. You know. So, what about schooling? Did you do any schooling for music?
Yeah, so I did not go to school for music. I went into college. This is my story, like background, but I went into college without knowing anything about music at all. So when I went to college, my goal was to be a news reporter. I know that kind of sounds a little bit, but yes,
No, you're talking to the world.
Yeah,
not
but
too far away.
Exactly. So I went to school for communications, and it was then where I took this elective class, and it was a jazz band class, and that's how I got into music. And the only reason that I got into jazz band is because somebody saw me singing on Instagram and was like, join the jazz band. I was like, sure, I'll join the jazz
Now,
band.
positive note
Yeah.
for social media right there.
Yeah, so I was just optimistic to join, and I joined, and I fell in love with the atmosphere, and from the jazz band to meeting another friend to introducing me to the studio and recording and all of that, that's how I got into music as a whole. So it wasn't, oh, I want to be a recording artist starting out. It was a whole different route I was going, and now I'm going this way. But I did finish my degree, so I'm
Well, that's
grateful
good.
for that.
But there's always a spark somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's always something that just says, hey, I have to turn my head to music.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think once I did get attached to it, I just could not let it go. So I was just like, I'm going to do both, be a student and be an artist. And once I graduated, it was like, now I really want to focus on the artistry now because this is what speaks to my heart. So
What did you graduate for?
I graduated in mass communications at Southern University.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, yeah, that's not too far away. Mass communication. I mean, you were trying to communicate to the
Speak
world
to the
through a song.
masses.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly. So it tied in.
It tied in.
It definitely
Absolutely.
did.
Yeah. No, you didn't go too far off. You know, it's actually a good corporate way to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, and I think it did help aid me as far as like how to communicate. Like now, because usually I'm pretty shy and introverted, but it definitely did help me along my musical journey. So yeah, I agree.
That's awesome. Well, the Southern Jazz Band, that must have been fun.
It was fun. It definitely was. We went around town in Baton Rouge because that's where we were, and we would perform.
Baton Rouge.
Yeah, Baton Rouge. And we performed locally in different spots. Like we performed at the River Center. I don't know if you know where that's at,
Yeah.
but yeah, we performed there, and we would always just sing and different stuff like that. But the reason why I love the jazz band the most is because it made me more comfortable with singing
Mm-hmm.
because I was kind of intimidated with singing and my gift. Like I knew how to sing, but I didn't really like to show off that I like to sing. I don't know why that was, but it just was like that. And whenever I joined,
You're always in your head at first. I
Yeah.
mean, that's kind of how it starts. I mean,
Yeah.
very few people can just belt it
Yeah.
out without thinking, you know.
like in church, like they would want me to sing, and I was just always so shy to sing, even though I knew I could sing. It's just like I'm intimidated by it. I
Right.
don't know, but it made me more comfortable with being in front of a crowd and singing in front of people. So that's really why I'm grateful for the jazz band, because it just made me like more comfortable with.
Well, jazz is very creative too. You
Mm-hmm.
it's very all over the place. It's not like, you know, a set structure. So I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you know, especially when you're really kind of diving into creating jazz, you can go in any different direction
Mm-hmm.
with your vocals and off timing and all kinds of crazy things. So it's
Yeah.
got to be very open to do
It definitely is
jazz.
open. Yeah, I think they had a whole bunch of different instruments as well. Like they had a bass, trumpet player, piano, keyboard, drummer. Like they had a whole bunch of people playing instruments in the background, and that was the first time I ever played in front of a band too. So I love jazz, and every time I'm studying or something like that, jazz always seems to calm me, calm my spirit. So I think, yeah, it definitely helped me with that as well. So
Is there a favorite jazz musician?
what's his name? Forgot. Oh, shoot.
Okay, what's the song? Is there a song of his?
It's not really a song. It's like he's just playing it, but I really did forget. I'm so sorry. But he really is playing the song. My dad used to always play the song. I just literally forgot it right now.
It'll come to you when we're all done.
I'm sorry.
Sure. Yeah, no, it's all right. It's all right. Well, what was I gonna say? What about music that you have out, or what's the first product of music that
Okay,
you put out? When
so-
did you do that?
That was back in 21. So I was about 19 at the time when I started. How I told you how I got into the studio with my friend introducing me to the studio. I made my first project called A Love Ride. It was an EP. And I really want to expound on the fact that I didn't know anything about music at first. So whenever I came out with that project, it was very pure. Like,
Yeah, that's a beautiful part of the music journey.
yeah,
Yep.
exactly. So like whenever I first came out, it was just like I really wasn't doing it like strategizing or like, okay, I wanted to do this amount of streams and I wanted to be here. It was just like I was going in the studio, I was making songs, and then eventually I came up with like 6 songs that I hadn't released, and I was just like, well, let me make it a project.
Right.
And then I did that, and then I released it, and just that was that. But I think that's the reason why I loved A Love Ride, the EP, is because it was very pure, very organic, no business, anything involved within it.
Right.
And it was a 90s feel, a 90s vibe, like how I told you, that spoke to my childhood. So I feel like that EP was my beginning into music, and it did really well as well. So
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, organic music is truly how I think things really translate across all spectrums. You know, I mean, and I know this is a little different, but there's a story about the Foo Fighters. Dave Grohl was saying that, you know, when he started Foo Fighters, it was after Nirvana, and they were already successful, so he already had some money, and so he wasn't worried about making money. So Foo Fighters was started getting a studio and just having fun, and that's how they kept it the whole time. But you know, it's now one of the largest bands in the world, and you know, but it's because they kept it organic and true to themselves. Didn't care about the business, didn't care about the labels, just did the music, whatever came out. You know,
and I think it's hard to kind of keep that organic feeling whenever you do get exposed to the business side of everything.
Absolutely.
Because that's how I wanted to keep it as well.
Right.
Until I realized, okay, it's not just about the music; it's also about the marketing. Because
Right.
you can make great music, but it not get noticed or anything like that if you're not marketing it right, and be a talented individual and still not be able to really expound on that because you're not marketing it well. So
Absolutely.
it's hard to kind of find that balance.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Rick Rubin says that in the creative making music process, the fans come last. And then he means that because you're supposed to make it from your own heart. So, so that's staying authentic is always the true way to actually connect to people.
I'm really trying to adopt that mentality. I gotta be honest, because I do want to please my fans.
Every A&R will tell you different. Every label will tell you different.
Yeah.
Every producer will try to produce something that's been out. You know, most of them nowadays. So it's, you know, you got to push that on them, making sure that it stays authentic. You know. So tell me about your new EP you just put out.
Okay, so it's called Keep It Off My Mind. It's a 6-track EP, and I feel like it shows my growth as an artist, as a neo-soul artist. Like how I mentioned to you earlier about I wasn't strategizing, I wasn't coming off like trying to push A Love Ride, my first EP, because I didn't know anything about it. It was pure-hearted, it was organic. But with this second EP, it was more so, okay, I'm strategizing, I'm trying to really push it now because I had more growth in trying to record and like learning how to record as far as melodies and experience and all of that. So I came in more stronger, more enthusiastic about my project, and I think it really, when you listen to it, it really shows my growth from my first EP to my second EP, and I've gotten a lot of acknowledgement, and it's really did well so far, and I think y'all should really go listen to it. So
What's the name of it?
Keep It Off My Mind. That's the name of the EP.
I love it. What a 90s title.
It
just sounds like a Brandy or a Monica.
Yes.
It just sounds like like something.
All the songs on the EP are basically kind of personal to me and my experiences with dating. Not all of them are like really honing into actually like detailed all of that because I really want to relate to my audience as well. But it definitely reflects like how I've dealt with dating and the feelings that I've felt, and all of that is really the inspiration behind Keep It Off My Mind. And when you listen to the song, the reason that it's titled, not the song, the EP, the reason why it's titled Keep It Off My Mind is because the majority of the songs on the project are like heartbreak songs. Gotcha. And then I have that one song that's like a love song. Kind of just shows like how it can be like love, and now it's not love anymore. Now I'm heartbroken. Now I'm sad, but he's making me happy again.
Life's a journey, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So that's really where the name came from on the EP. So
I got you. What's your favorite song?
My favorite song on the EP is called No More Love, ironically.
It's a story behind that one, I'm sure.
It is a story behind that one. Ironically, since it's Valentine's Day, I'm pretty sure coming, it can relate to some people who don't have a lover out there and dealt with heartbreak and all of that. But My favorite song is No More Love because it did come from a real place in my life. I know I'm young, so I don't really know anything about anything when it comes to
Well, you know,
when it comes to love and all of that.
we all have our own experiences.
Exactly,
you know?
but what I've gone through so far hasn't been like the greatest experience. Although I am blessed for the experience that I have had to be able to learn and grow from it, but it kind of just makes you, brokenhearted, like, oh, I'm giving up on love. I don't feel confident in it. I don't feel like it's meant for me. I don't feel like I'm good enough for it. That's really what this song is portraying, but it's also more of a, like, I have to heal type of song, not just, oh, I have no more love, I have nothing to give, but more so, I have to heal. And if you listen to the song, it's really going to, like, give you that feeling like, okay.
Well, you tell you what, in my opinion, heartbreak is something that is better for you to experience when you're young because the heartbreaks teach you how to appreciate the one that actually you should be with, if that makes sense. So if you haven't been through any of those trials and tribulations, when you meet that person, you might not understand how good it is to be there, And so it's better to go through that stuff young.
That's why I said I'm blessed to have gone through those experiences because now, like, when I do date and when I do talk to guys, like, I'm already kind of on, like, game way, okay, I'm not dealing with that. Oh, I know what that is. Like, it kind of just...
It definitely helps.
gives you the wisdom. Yeah, definitely.
That's awesome. So who have you been working with or writing with?
Oh, my gosh. So I've been working with, on that EP, Keep It Off My Mind, the producer is Rick Valentino. Shout out to Rick Valentino. He produced all of those beats on my EP, and he's from Lafayette, and he's a very talented producer. And we've been working together. We've been collaborating. And I just think that is a good thing that we were able to collaborate locally and utilize people locally instead of trying to go out. Because there's so much talent who, in the state. And I like that we were able to work together and come up with a project and just... Yeah, it really came out great. So shout out to Rick Valentino for that.
Awesome. That's what we're trying to do here at Elation is really broadcast that local talent.
Yeah.
So we've been doing a lot of camps here, bringing in producers. The first one we did was with Rodney Jerkins and Jazzy Faye, and did a camp and brought in all local songwriters and worked for a week together and created a bunch of songs, and they're all getting pitched by Jazzy's and Rodney's A&Rs, and so trying to broaden the base. Of having them actually getting songs pitched by real syncs and real A&Rs.
Exactly. So, and that's what I'm saying. There's so much talent in the state locally. Like, I feel like Louisiana is a breeding ground for just
100%.
raw talent.
But we've been forgotten about since Katrina.
Exactly.
There's nobody organizing, cultivating anything down here. There's a bunch of random, hardworking individuals that are just, artists and trying to get there.
Trying to get there on their own, and that's why I'm saying it's important to, like, collaborate and be willing to collaborate with other talented people versus trying to do it on your own, because you get farther when you have people, like, alongside you than trying to do it by yourself. I had to learn that myself. I can't do this on my own. It's too hard to do it on my own, that I need people to help me along the way.
Yeah. When you shoot your first music video, you figure that out quick, too,
exactly,
don't you? Right?
Yes. Oh, my goodness.
Tell me about some music videos.
So my first music video was to my first EP, A Love Ride. It was called Out of Town. And basically, like you said, when you shoot your first music video and you're doing it by yourself, it's a lot. Like, dressing and trying to figure out the locations and trying to figure out the storyline. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, working together is so much easier. But that was my first music video. And from there, I've made several other music videos to Soul Tide. We have a music video to Girl You Used to Know, which did really well on YouTube. Like, we're at, like, 51,000 views.
Nice.
3 months ago. So, also, we have Jonathan Please music video. And I also have a music video coming out to my favorite song, No More Love.
There you go.
Yeah, so that should be coming out around February 15th.
Is there a story in the video?
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about the story? So we have a little sneak peek?
I could possibly tell you something, like, it's gonna be showing, like, the toxic side of love, because hence No More Love.
Right.
It's gonna just be showing a storyline as it pertains to a couple who's like in a toxic relationship where it's on and off, on and off, on and off. And I know a lot of people can relate to that type of story where you just cannot let somebody go, even though you know they're no good for you and you're no good for them. So that's a sneak peek into the storyline.
All right.
So,
Well, excited about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. What about your streaming? I know you've been working hard on your streaming and getting some numbers and.
Yeah. So I think my streamings have been doing very well. Ever since I started, it's almost like, wow, my streamings are going up as I continue to grow. And I like streamings, like as far as back in the day it was like CDs and stuff like that.
Right.
And I can't relate to that because I'm 19. Well, I was 19 when I started and now I'm 21, so I've always dealt with streaming and stuff like that. So fortunately or unfortunately, I think that streaming has been like good for Gen Z in a way because you're able to just get more people to listen to your music versus like being in person and trying to hand out CDs and stuff like that.
Right.
Just get more of an audience like in the UK and Africa and all these different parts of the country.
Is there any advice you would give up-and-coming artists about streaming, about how to use it, or is there a specific way that you use it to get? Because it's not easy just to put up a song and get 50,000 streams.
That's true. It's not easy. I would say, like you were saying, the raw talent, the keeping it fun, and all of that. I think that should be the core because your audience will find you. Is what I noticed. I don't really have like a strategy as far as like, okay, I'm gonna do this so I can get this amount of streams because that's never really what I've done. What I've done so far is just I release the music, the audience finds me. So, and it came from my heart, my passion. So that's what I would say. Keep it lighthearted, keep it fun. Don't try to, okay, I need this many streams by this month and I need this many streams but don't get too strategic about it because it can just kind of just keep you on
the organic part.
Yeah, focus on the numbers, and then if you don't reach a certain like numbers, like I'm failing, you know. So.
Well, but you have a team behind you that's helping with your promotion, I'm sure.
Yeah, shout out to Jay. Shout out. Yeah, I do have a team now, and they have been helping me.
Back to you can't do it by yourself.
Yeah, back to I can't do it by myself. But I'm saying as far as the streaming goes, like you definitely want to just keep it fun, keep doing what you like to do, whether that be rock, country, Christian music, anything. Like your audience will find you.
Well, nowadays the music is almost used as a promotional tool, as your promo for your own brand in a sense, because of streaming. But what would you say your favorite content to shoot is for your advertising? Because you do, I'm sure you shoot other content than just music videos.
Yeah. So content, I like to kind of put people on game about how to do certain stuff. Whenever I learn something, I like to put them like on. So other content I like to do is just like showing them how I do things like writing music, how to record, what you should do before you go into the studio. Also, of course, covers, singing other songs, other people's songs. But my niche and what I like to do, because I like to help people, I like to just like tell people what I've learned so that I can help somebody else who would need that help when they're first starting up as well. So
awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, I like to ask everybody at the end of the show, I like to ask them, what brings elation to you in your life? You know, I define elation as peak happiness. Mm-hmm. So what brings elation to you in your life?
Elation is a great word because when I think of elation, I think of great joy. And that's why I asked you, like, why did you come up with elation? But what brings me elation is, as pertaining to my music, is when my fans reach out to me and tell me that they can relate to my music, or when they heard my music, it was like they were going through something in their life and they could speak to it. My music could speak to it. And that's what brings me elation because it lets me know that my work is going to a greater cause, bigger than me,
right.
You know?
And touching somebody.
It's touching somebody,
yep.
And that's a different feeling that you really can't get from nothing else.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's definitely what brings me elation, knowing that I'm able to help people through music.
Awesome.
So.
That's beautiful. That's awesome.
Thank you.
All right. Well, great. Thanks for coming here today. And why don't you tell everybody what your socials and where they can find you and your music?
Okay, well, you can find me on Instagram, on Twitter, on Threads, on Snapchat, on anything at I am Ivy Low. I am IvyLo. And YouTube, definitely subscribe to my YouTube channel at I am Ivy Low. So all of my social medias and everything will be I am Ivy Low, and my website is ivylow.net. So
Awesome. Great. Well, thanks for coming and spending your time here. And we had a great time talking to you.
thank you so much.
All
I
right.
really enjoyed this interview, and this is a really nice setup. So
Thanks so much.
yeah.
Well, thanks, guys, for coming to Elation Podcast, and where we find exhilarating euphoria through creation and collaboration. So have a good day.